Hello everyone, this is Srirevathi, Assistant Professor of English, Bishop Iber College, Trichy. Today I am going to explain the poem Do Not Go Gentle Into That Good Night, which was written by Dylan Thomas. Before explaining the poem, I want to say something about Dylan Thomas. Dylan Morlaes Thomas was a Welsh poet and a writer who was born in Swansea, Wales, United Kingdom. He was highly recognized for his literary work in his young age and remained so after his death at the age of 39 in New York City. He was also famously called as a roistering drunken and doomed poet. Dylan Thomas started writing poetry as a child and was publishing by his teens. In his lifetime, he avoided becoming involved with the literary groups or movements like any other writers. He had only a little use of societal ideas and behaviors in his literary career. Dylan was famous for his acutely lyrical and emotional poetry, particularly in his emphasis on imagination, melancholic thought, nature, emotion, intuition, and spontaneity. He was considered to be one of the greatest Welsh poets of all the time and is highly known for his imaginative use of language in his poem. Dylan Thomas lost his earthly life on 9th November 1953 in his young age due to some ill health complicated by alcohol and drug abuse. Let me explain some major works. A collection of 18 poems in 1934, a collection of 25 poems in 1936, The Map of Love in 1939, Portrait of the Artist as a Young Dog in 1940, Adventures in the Skin Trade in 1940, which is supposed to be an unfinished novel written by Dillon, Deaths and Entrances in 1946, A Child's Christmas in Wales in 1952 is a short story, and Under Milkwood, a play for voices in 1953. The play as a solo performance in Cambridge, which was acted, which was first performed in BBC. Before going to the poem, I want to give a brief intro about the poem. Do Not Go Gentle Into That Good Night was first published in 1951. This poem is the perfect example of using villanelly poetic form. It means a French verse form having five tercets and one quatrains. This poem remains an iconic mark in the literary world because it encourages the dying, the sick, and the elderly person to fight bravely against the inevitable death. Though the poem was dedicated to Thomas' father, who is in deathbed, it contains a universal message to fight against death. This poem also celebrates the vibrant and spirit of human life, even though life is weak and short. Let me read the poem stanza by stanza and explain it. Do not go gentle into that good night. Old age should burn and rave at close of day. Rage, rage against the dying of the light. In the first stanza, the poet said that don't calmly and peacefully welcome death. The elder people should passionately fight against death as their lives come to an end, even though they know their old age burn them and bring wildly to close their life. They should have resist the oncoming darkness of their death. Stanza 2. Though wise men at their end know dark is right, because their words had fogged no lightning, they do not go gentle into that good night. Smart people at the end of their life understand that death is inevitable because they have not yet said anything or do anything revolutionary and nothing powerful enough to shock the world like a bolt of lightning. They want to live their life to fulfill their wisdom in the world. So these smart people refuse to peacefully accept death. Next stanza. Good men, the last wave by crying how bright their frail dates might have danced in a green bay, rage, rage against the dying of the light. Good people saying the last moment of their life pass by like a final wave, mourn for the fact that they were not able to accomplish more in this universe because even small actions might have moved above joyously in a green bay, that is, they could have made a difference in the world. So they resist the oncoming darkness of their death. Wild men who caught and sang the sun in flight and learned too late, they grabbed it on its way. Do not go gentle into that good night. In the fourth stanza, Dylan talks about the daring people who have lived in the moment in an adventurous life to the fullest, metaphorically catching a joyful ride across the sky on the sun, realizing the fact too late that the sun is leaving them behind and that even they must die in this eternal world, but they refuse to peacefully accept the death. In the fifth stanza, Dillon talks about the serious people, grave men near death who see with blinding sight, blind eyes could blaze like meteors and be gay, rage, rage against the dying of the light. Serious people about to die realize with sudden clarity that even those who have lost their sight after their death, their blind eyes could blaze like meteors, be full of light and happiness, but they resist the oncoming darkness of their death. After taking the reference of wise men, good men, wild men, and grave men, the final stanza is highly addressing to Dillon's father who is in his deathbed. And you, my father, there on the sad height, curse, bless me now with your fierce tears. I pray, do not go gentle into that good night. Rage, rage against the dying of the light. The final stanza, my dear, saying that my dear father, you are close to death, as if on the peak of a mountain. I pray to you, cursed by love, and bless me now with your passionate emotions. And I pray to you, do not go peacefully into the welcoming height of death. Please resist the oncoming darkness of your death. An interesting fact about this poem was Dylan's father was recovered from the illness, whereas Dylan lost his earthly life in 1953 at his young age. Thank you.